So today I'm going to be covering poppets. I'm going to show you this poppet and what this is used for. And I'm going to show you another way to make a poppet that's a little less extensive because this one is pretty time consuming because there's a lot of sewing. And obviously there are other ways to do it where you can like hot glue it, or that's honestly the only one I can think of other than sewing is hot glue the edges. And you can stuff it full of crystals, you can stuff it full of herbs. Yeah, and you can attach pretty much anything you want to. Like, I've got green buttons because they're my favorite color. I've got some, oh no, what's it called? Lapidolite? That shiny one that's got that kind of aura to it. And see if it'll focus. There we go. That kind of weird aura thing that's really nice. Red carnelian. Some pretty sparkly gold beads because I like sparkles. Music really helps calm me and all of that. A safety pin to remind myself to, be there for others. I kind of accidentally covered up this one, but, a little bead to remind, or button to remind me to kind of open up more and to pay attention to my heart and all that. And oh, this one's for keeping spirit in mind. Red carnelian kind of connects me to my matron goddess. A flower, because I like flower. I put some gold watercolor on it so it's nice and shiny. A key to unlock my happiness and my emotions. If you can't tell, this is for like self-love. I also really like this shade of blue, so I decided to use this thread. It's just a embroidery thread. I've got a crap ton of it, and I need to use it. And I like the aesthetic of it. Also some ribbons in my favorite colors, in pink and green. And I didn't have any pink fabric like I thought I did, which is like a fleece fabric. So I'm using purple because I also like purple. But yeah, I'll go more into depth on poppets or spell dolls or whatever you want to call them once I am finished with this, which it may take me quite a while because I've only reached all of this and here, and it's been like 2 hours because, yeah. Also, my mess and a puppy. Come here, puppy. Look how big he's gotten. Look how big. Yeah. He's going so big and such a stretchy face. Such a stretchy face. So just a tip, when you're stuffing these things, overstuff like the body, because when you close it, you're gonna have to kind of squish it and rearrange in the stuffing into the legs. And if you overstuff the body, that'll be easier. I'm using polyfill, and you don't have to use polyfill. You can use rice or beans or something like that, plastic beads, the little filler beads, or beanbag stuffing, or pretty much anything you want that's not gonna like spoil or something. And like beans and rice, unless they get wet, aren't gonna spoil. So yeah, that's just a little tip that I figured I'd interject my sewing with. Alright, so I showed this poppet. Let me get it actually in frame. And that one's pretty simple. You take a piece of fabric, you draw out a little body shape, and make sure you get two shapes of it. An easy way to do that is fold the fabric in half, draw out the body shape, pin it down, and then cut out the shape. If you're having trouble drawing a shape of a person, you can use a gingerbread man cookie cutter. and trace that. There's also a lot of like stencils online that you can get. Um, Another one that I honestly have not tried before, but I'm going to try now if I can get this thread to cooperate. Maybe. Alright. Is kind of a yarn poppet or spell doll or whatever. You take some thread or some yarn, you tie a knot in the top for the head. Let's see if I can get this easily. Close enough. And then take another one. Now I'm using some different colors here because I didn't have all of the same color, and this is just kind of an example doll. Also, you can use less thread, you can switch up the colors for your different correspondences, and just like the other one, you know, you can really customize it and make it however you want. Spell dolls can be used for just about anything. Oh, Puppy's decided to walk underneath the tripod because, you know, that's what puppies do. Stop it. Anyway, you can really do anything with these things. Like this one is for myself, for healing, self-love, all of that stuff. And it's pretty connected to me. The tag lock that I've pretty much used, and a tag lock is something that connects you to whatever you're making, or connects someone, whoever you're working for, to what you're making, like a spell jar, a spell pouch, the spell dolls or whatever. The spell one that I have is that I shed a lot, so there's a piece of my hair right here that I'm not really going to take out. Also, when I thread things, it sounds kind of gross, but I have to use like my spit to get the thread thin enough to fit through the hole in the sewing needle. And this is a leather working needle I used for the thicker thread. And as an example, I don't know where it went. Never mind. Oh, there it is. If I can get it without making a mess. As an example of the difference in sizes, that little teeny tiny silver thing is a regular sized sewing needle. So, you know, this one's a lot bigger, works for thicker thread. But yeah, it's kind of gross, but like my spit is in this, and you can use all sorts of things for different tag locks. Some people even use their blood, you know, hair, nail clippings, whatever your little heart desires. So back to this. What you want to do after you get the knot in there for these is stick this in the middle. You kind of split it in half. Let me see if I can get this a little bit more in half. It's kind of a pain in the ass, not gonna lie, because, you know, you want to wrap it up in circle. This was already wrapped up because it is embroidery thread, which honestly I recommend because it is, one, it's already wrapped up, and two, there's a billion different colors. Oh yeah, he's mad because he can't get on the couch. He's big enough to jump up on his own, but he cannot, for some reason, figure it out and expects us to lift him up. So we've not been lifting him up, and he's very upset about it. He's currently pouting right now. Anyway, so you want to wrap a new string around it to kind of uh, secure it in place, and it also creates like the torso of it, of the little doll thing. And you want to do it pretty tight because you don't want it slipping around. You can go in different directions. Like, for example, I did a little X and then I'm wrapping around the bottom. I'll wrap around the top. Yeah, you just want it kind of tight so that it, um, stays put, and then tie a little knot so that it doesn't come undone. Tying knots is hard, apparently. And you can include like numbers in this. For example, I use the number 3 for a lot of things. So say I wrap it around in, 3 times, or I wrap it around 9 times, whatever, just so that it connects with the number 3. Tie the securing knot 3 times. Okay, cut that off. Set it aside. Now for the legs, you want to find that center again so that they're even, and this is an exact center, and then you cut it so he's got little legs, and then you want to knot the ends so that, you don't have to. It can be like a little skirt sort of deal or whatever you want. I'll knot the ends because I want to, honestly. Actually, you know what? I'm not going to knot the ends because these aren't as long as I was hoping, but that's okay. There we go. So it's just a little doll. And, you can put a ring at the top. You can knot a ring at the top to carry it around with you. You can put it on a necklace. You can add beads. You can do all kinds of things with it. I'm gonna try to knot this. I don't know if I'll be able to get it because I didn't do the strings long enough. Yeah, no, it's not gonna happen. But yeah, and this one, you can kind of make it work kind of like a corn husk doll, because corn husk dolls are made very similarly. And I may do a video of that around Maybon, just to kind of show you guys when corn is more in season and stuff like that. So yeah, that's kind of how you make the poppet. There's different ways you can use it. You can use buttons, for eyes, or you can embroider buttons. That's just like sewing, inside it. When you do sew, keep it open. So when you draw it out and you cut out the shape, set one piece of fabric aside, decide which side you want to be the front, and sew on your different pieces. It's a lot easier to do that, and it hides all the knots. Unless you want those showing, and then you can do that, whatever. You can sew on sequins. You can glue stuff on. So, like, hot glue would probably work best. You can get, like, glitter glue and design that on there. You can get fabric paint. You can stitch different types of fabric on it if you want to, like different scrap fabrics. And kind of, I want to touch on, this stuff being used for curses, because that is kind of the first thing people think of when they think of spell dolls and poppets, and they think of voodoo dolls. Now, I am not part of voodoo, the voodoo practice. I don't know anything about it, honestly. And this making spell dolls isn't specific to voodoo, but it does. That's what everybody thinks of when they see something like this. At least most people, and from my experience. Now, you don't have to use these for cursing, stabbing it with pins and stuff like that. As far as my understanding goes, most of these things are used for healing. So, for example, say you want to do some sort of energetic acupuncture, you could stick a pin where there's pain and, kind of separate that pain and split it so that it's no longer causing the pain. You can put different crystals in different parts of the doll to represent different things, like maybe like kind of like I did the little crystal here, crystal bead here, to kind of like open up third eye or to encourage healing. You can do like these little ones here. Sorry, I don't even know if this is in frame. Sorry, I wasn't paying attention. So kind of opening up third eye, connecting you to spirit. Little things at the feet that represent, grounding, different things like that, like a little red bead or crystal for the heart. And you can do different colors for the energy points. You can have all the energy points represented, and that sort of thing. Personally, I like making ones like this because to me they're easier than doing something like this. As you could tell, it was kind of difficult for me to get the knots because I didn't get the string right. But yeah, so it doesn't have to be for curses. It can be for love. It can be for protection. It can be a decoy. So, for example, if you're having a string of bad luck, you can make a little poppet that represents you, throw a tag lock in there, or represents someone, and throw a tag lock in there, put it in a jar, and you can even go so far as to throw some magnets in it so that when it, that bad luck is coming at you, it is drawn to the doll and not to you. And this can go with like curses. It can, aimed at you. It can go with ill health. You can come up with all sorts of different ways. Get creative. Have fun with it. But yeah, that's pretty much it as far as what I have. There's so many different things you can do, but I'm gonna clean up my mess and probably get some food because I'm hungry. And yeah, that's it. Bye, guys. Okay, so I forgot to mention that I'm going to include some bells in this on the end of the ribbons, because for me, bells raise the vibration, raise the energy, and it's just kind of a way to cleanse it, to charge it, that sort of thing. Is just shake it up and ring the bells. It's really that simple. So yeah, I'll see you guys later.